From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Molly Cummings.
And I'm Gray Hurley. Thanks for joining us. Well, the votes are in, but we still don't know the winners of all the races. Joining us live with what we do know is reporter Jacob Messer. Jacob?
Gray, one thing we do know is that voter turnout in North Carolina was huge. 75% of registered voters cast a ballot. That's nearly 5.5 million people, which is a record. So let's take a look at the results of some of the big races. One of the earliest winners of the night was North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. He beat challenger Dan Forest 52% to 47%. The North Carolina Senate race was much closer. Incumbent Thom Tillis declared victory over Democrat Cal Cunningham. Tillis had 48.7% of the vote compared to Cunningham's 46.9%. Now, of course, the biggest race of all is the presidential race, and we still don't know who our next president will be. Things are extremely tight. Final results aren't in for a handful of key states, including North Carolina, so it could be hours or even days until we know if Biden will have a chance or if Trump will get another 4 years. Reporting live in Chapel Hill, Jacob Messer, Carolina Week.
With so many races affecting our country and state, UNC students have been paying close attention to the results. Reporter Perry Price got reactions from students about the election. She joins us live now. Perry, what are you hearing?
Molly, many students stayed up all night watching results come in, but in the early hours of this morning, it became clear that we wouldn't know the winner. And the students I spoke with say they actually thought this might happen.
I'm not totally surprised, really. I feel like everybody was talking about how it was going to be contested for many days.
I'm glad that we have a full picture for the most part. Hopefully they'll call it today. Yeah, it's just good that we're not going to be waiting for a month from what I know.
Students say they'll continue keeping their eyes on the results. And of course, once we do have a winner, we'll make sure to bring you the latest. Reporting live in Chapel Hill, Perry Price, Carolina Week.
A presidential election happens once every 4 years, and 2020 marked the first election where many students could voice their political opinions. I talked with some UNC students about the voting process and what it meant to them.
College campuses are full of first-time voters, and UNC is no exception. Thousands of UNC students voted by mail last month, and many others went to the polls yesterday to cast their ballots. The voting process was a little more complicated due to COVID regulations. UNC sophomore Jeremy Huang says that while the poll workers were friendly, he wishes that there had been more direction for people participating in an election for the first time.
It was interesting, retrieving the ballot, and I didn't really know where to go, but I think for the most part, they were helpful and were like, okay, you just go to this booth. And then after that, they didn't tell me what to do with it after, so I was a little confused, but then it just followed the crowd, so that was fine.
UNC senior Madison Lira says that she spent the past few weeks researching the candidates on the ballot, as well as the positions they are running for.
Reviewing issues and topics and just generally having an idea of who they are because they've already either been in office or held a prominent position. It was cool to be able to look at how they operated.
Although the final numbers aren't in yet, political experts believe college student voter turnout will be the highest in decades.
One of the biggest issues in all of the political races this year has been the coronavirus, and the pandemic continues to be a major factor for students who are still trying to decide what to do in the spring semester. As the remote fall semester comes to an end, some UNC students are hoping to take some time off until things return to normal. After a statement was made last month announcing that many spring courses would remain online, students uninterested in more online classes are considering other alternatives for the upcoming semester. UNC student Gabriella Duncan is planning to take the time off to pursue research projects, expand her own business, and do an internship.
It's kind of an opportunity to explore and rest at the same time. I don't think I've heard many, if any, positive experiences with online school. And I think if people have, the time to do so, if they have the energy, if they want to stay at Carolina a little bit longer, I think that it could be, or if they want to graduate a little bit later, I think it could be a really good possibility.
Will be returning to UNC in the spring. The registration period begins on November 30th.
In some countries, life is getting back to normal, and college students are back in the classroom. Now, many UNC students are looking for opportunities to study abroad to get the full college experience. For the spring semester, 196 students have committed to study abroad programs through the Study Abroad office. There are also students who have applied to study abroad opportunities in the spring through the Keenan Flagler Business School. The Study Abroad office says the numbers are changing frequently due to COVID-19 rates and public health restrictions. Many students are looking to study abroad so that they can have in-person classes in the spring.
Really wanted to go and study abroad was to get that outside view, was to get to learn business in a more international level. So to me, I wanted to see and push if I could still go abroad and just still be able to get that experience, even if it is going to be in a more limited fashion.
Missed the deadline for the spring, Summer Study Abroad will open on November 15th.
There's a problem in North Carolina that you may have never heard about before: child marriage. And as reporter Aaron Jenkins shows us, we've become a sanctuary state for child brides.
77-year-old Jean Carroll was only 15 when she packed up her few belongings and married a 24-year-old man.
My dad was very abusive toward us children. We had nothing. I mean, nothing. So I married to get away from Dad and away from a home situation.
They got a marriage license in rural Macon County because Buncombe County wouldn't allow a 15-year-old to marry.
I was scared to death. I didn't know how to do anything.
The marriage turned sour, and by then she'd given birth to a little girl. Fast forward, Carol and her daughter, Tanya Hampton, live in Marion, North Carolina. Hampton is the McDowell County Register of Deeds and signs off on marriage licenses that sometimes include young girls.
To be on the backside of it and actually issuing these marriage licenses and seeing it and knowing what's coming down the road for these young ladies it's torture. It is torture.
Drew Reisinger is a Register of Deeds in nearby Buncombe County.
We know that the majority of girls who get married before they are 18 years old are at an increased risk for domestic violence. They're at an increased risk for depression and mental health issues.
That's why Reisinger is leading the charge to change the North Carolina law.
So we've become essentially this sanctuary state for child marriage.
Reisinger says the rate of child marriage here is decreasing.
But because all of our surrounding states have raised their age of their marriage laws, we're seeing an influx of people coming in from Kentucky and from Virginia and Tennessee and now Georgia.
North Carolina law allows for 16-year-olds to marry with the consent of a parent. Even 14-year-olds can marry if the girl is pregnant, but North Carolina legislators have not budged.
We called all 100 registers of deeds and tried to figure out who had digitally accessible, clean data that we could compile and go through. And I don't think legislators can now say, we don't know if this happens anymore.
Since 2000, there have been more than 4,000 marriages involving a minor in North Carolina.
Legislators are embarrassed by this because we're amongst the worst in the United States for child marriage.
And they had parents' consent, but my question is why? Is that not statutory, right? Yeah. I mean, 17 years old.
For Hampton, it's not just a social issue.
You have to be 21 now to buy a pack of cigarettes. Why can you get married at 16 years old?
It's personal.
You get to where you try to put on a blank face without emotion because it's so personal to do that. And these ladies probably feel like they don't have a choice, just like my mom did.
I went through it, and I know what it's like. And I know that it won't work because you don't know, as I said, you don't know anything.
The North Carolina Association of Register of Deeds will be addressing the legislature in the upcoming months, trying to push forward the initiative.
Here's a 17-year-old marrying a 19-year-old.
I'm Aaron Jenkins, reporting.
UNC Hussman students have found a way to keep their peers connected. Reconnect Carolina is an initiative started by seniors in the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media. The aim is to connect students and reestablish relationships during this remote semester through UNC Memories. Students gain points and prizes each week from virtual scavenger hunts. All money raised from this initiative goes towards Feed the Fight to help support local Chapel Hill businesses.
Here to take us through the weekend of Carolina athletics is sports anchor Kennedy Bird. Kennedy?
Molly, on Saturday, Carolina football takes on Duke to show the Devils who's the better blue. Last year, the Tar Heels defeated Duke, ending a 3-year win streak against Carolina. Currently 4-2, the Tar Heels have a chance at winning this game. Their offense has been great this season. Quarterback Sam Howell has more than 1,800 passing yards. But if they want this win, the Tar Heels will have to step up their defense, which has proved to be their biggest limitation. Duke has good pass rushers, and UNC has had trouble protecting the passers in the past. Duke is 2-5 and sits at number 7 in the ACC in third down conversions. If Duke wants a chance Saturday, the Devils will need to put more energy in their offense. Their quarterback Chase Bryce currently has more than 1,500 passing yards. It's critical that the Blue Devils get as many points as they can against one of the top offenses in the NCAA. Coach Mack Brown isn't underestimating their competition.
As far as Duke, everybody knows David Cutcliffe's a great coach, and they can run the ball well, and we haven't stopped the run. They can block punts, and we've had block punts. They've got 2 really good pass rushers, and we've had trouble protecting the passer. So we got our hands full this weekend.
Chapel Hill will play host to the ACC Field Hockey Championships this weekend, and Karen Shelton's crew is looking to reclaim its crown. This Thursday, the UNC Field Hockey team will face Boston College in the first round of the ACC tournament. Last year, UNC won its 3rd consecutive title against Boston College in Massachusetts en route to its 2nd consecutive national title. The Tar Heels will play on their home field where they have never lost and are hungry to add another ACC championship to their trophy case. Field hockey star Aaron Matson and assistant coach Lauren Moyer are trying to help out aspiring players. Mia Guthrie has that story.
Along with coaching the UNC team, Lauren Moyer co-created a company that teaches children and teens to play field hockey called Become Uncommon. She started this program right before the pandemic outbreak and experienced a large number of viewers, with everything currently being virtual.
It was just a good way to get, field hockey out there more and more girls with a stick in their hand, and it was great.
After the coronavirus outbreak, Erin Matson decided to share videos of her playing field hockey at home, teaching children and teens the basics of the sport. She recently launched a program with her family called Field Hockey Connects.
It's my mom, my dad, and my brother, and me. But yeah, it kind of goes off the same thing, just wanting to help the little ones out and everything.
This program is meant to bring opportunities to learn field hockey in undeserved areas and to give these children the opportunity to learn the sport and shape their future. Aaron and Coach Moyer are looking to progress in the ACC Championship this weekend and show these kids what determination and drive will get you. I'm Mia Guthrie reporting.
See how Matson, Moyer, and the field hockey team fare on Monday's edition of Sports Extra. That's all from sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kennedy. All right, Gray, I have an important question for you. What do you do to relax?
Well, to relax, normally I'll watch some good football, eat a tasty meal, and call it a night.
That sounds delightful. For me, I love to listen to music, and the latest new releases have come at the perfect time.
The monotony of the pandemic has been loud, but not as loud as some new music hitting the charts. On Monday, Ariana Grande broke her own record with her newest single, Positions, debuting at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Other new releases include Sam Smith's Diamonds, Leon's Apart, and a new single from the Jonas Brothers.
It was hard for me to differentiate between, is this an inappropriate time to release because of the state of the world, or is this the appropriate time to release because it's going to make a lot of people feel something bright and something better and be uplifting to people?
As students are bogged down with online classes, the election, and impending exams, many feel the music is giving them some much-needed relief. Seniors Brooke Jordan and Tori Dunlap have loved adding these new albums to their favorite playlists.
It's like really good for my mental health, specifically when Lainey came out with their new album and Justin Bieber came out with some new music and like some new documentaries, and yeah, like Sam Smith's album is really good, and yeah, there's just a lot of really awesome music, and it's really helping my mental health and giving me something to look forward to.
It feels like a little bit of a cultural reset every time a new album comes out, and it also, like, music marks eras in my mind, and so the fact that new music is arriving kind of feels like a new era to me.
Dunlap says the new music feels like a rebirth and the arrival of new and better vibes.
New and better vibes are exactly what we need right now, don't you think, Gray?
I totally agree. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week. Thanks for watching.